Westworld Season 2, Episode 5. Chrissy, wake up!
Chrissy, wake up! I don't like this! Chrissy, wake up!
Hey, hello!
Time to wake up like this! Chrissy, wake up!
Welcome back to AsArt. My name is Nick. We have a resident actor with us, Chris, and my sister, Britt. So we're here and we're going to be talking about Westworld. Just so you know, we've been covering Westworld this whole season. So if you subscribe, you'll get all the updates of the new episodes. We're more than halfway through now, so it's almost at the end. And also, I just came from Comic-Con. So if you want to see the panel that I was at for Severance, go check out the video. I was there. Ben Stiller, Adam Scott, you name it, we're there. And we were talking about it. But now, time to talk about The Matrix. I mean Westworld. Okay. All right. So quick recap. Bernard's not in it, which is a bummer because he's like my favorite character. And it's mostly Dolores / Chrissy / evil Dolores.
Black Dolores plus white Dolores.
The yin and the yang.
Yeah.
So what do you guys think of this episode?
I liked it.
I liked it as well.
It's not bad. It's not a bad
I feel like
episode.
they're redeeming themselves.
I've always loved Westworld from season 1, and I felt like the story was just getting a little muddied, and so it really lost my interest for a long time. This episode kind of grasped it back for me. Like the last few episodes kind of were starting to, get it back. It is a little bit more predictable than previous episodes, but it is getting me back because now we're going back to this idea of Westworld, but it's just inverted. Literally, we were talking about it earlier where like it seems like this episode, like the season is so predictable because everything is literally just inverted. If it was black, it was white. If it was,
tall,
if it was tall, it was shorter. Everything is just inverted.
If it was red, it was white, right?
It's just inverted. Everything is just inverted from season 1. So I was like, oh, okay.
But it's also kind of cool that
it's stealing from
homage.
Yeah. And it's stealing from Stranger Things. It's the upside down.
I thought it was Inception and
I definitely said Inception because Nick, how Inception is my favorite. So
yes.
Yeah.
So you think it's more Inception than The Matrix?
I think it's a mixture of the two. And some themes they actually stole directly from certain movies, like when the few I call them outliers, but they're the ones that aren't infected are in there, and then the Man in Black he stops the whole world because he realizes that hey, you got these outliers, and everybody stops. I was like, dude, you got to stop, or else you're gonna get caught. Same thing, kind of like Inception, where as soon as you're recognized, the entire world is gonna turn on you.
Zombies.
It's exactly what happens in Inception, and I was like, oh man, well, Inception all over again. Yeah.
So we kind of had a big twist, but not really. We knew she was Dolores. Even though the showrunners were trying to say, "Oh, Dolores is dead," but we're like, how many versions of Dolores are out there anyway?
They're all Doloreses.
Well, I mean,
it's Agent Smith, right? He's like, you, me,
right? Yeah, yeah, for sure. For sure.
And then we also have the Zion themes going on too, right?
Yeah.
You have the people, the free people going into the Matrix to extract people.
Yeah.
Without a pill now. Now it's just a waterway, like on a boat. But
yeah. And we have a specific part that I want to talk about.
Do it right now.
All right, right now. All right.
Let's not wait.
So, well, my favorite movie is Inception, and so when we were watching this, there's a scene where one of the parts that I say that it's inverted. Well, because from season 1, it was Dolores that was actually like trying to get Teddy to realize that, hey, this world isn't real, right? Mm-hmm. The whole Matrix kind of thing. The world you live in isn't real. It was Dolores doing it to Teddy. Now it's Teddy doing it to Dolores. But the way that he got her to see that her world wasn't real was so lame. Like, he was like, hey, you see those people? Make them talk. Now make them not talk. You are now God. Oh my, I was like, that is so lame. And I was like, I was telling Brittany, like, okay, if you see if you take that same scenario where Leonardo DiCaprio is talking with Ellen Page, the actor, and is trying to get her to understand that you can contort this world and stuff like that, and like he makes her contort the entire Paris, on top of each other to realize her world isn't real. Not like, hey, make them talk. Now make them not talk. Oh, amazing! That was just so lame.
Or like in the Matrix, Morpheus has him jump across like a
For
bridge
sure.
or something like
to
that,
realize,
right?
but just talking, make people talk. I was just like, that was pretty
They could have been a
lame.
little bit more creative. on
Yeah, they
that.
could have been more creative.
Or even like they could have did the thing in the Matrix too, like have a girl or someone wearing a red suit and
Yes.
have everything freeze around them or something like that. And then like an agent or it's just something so shocking where it's just like, a conversation happened.
Yeah,
But-
that's what I mean. It was like, oh, the great conversation. Oh,
Yeah. And then so one thing that's really interesting, they're really trying to play on the themes that the robots are trying to be human now at this point, right? Like, but then the evil Dolores, that's what I call
Charlotte Hell. You
yeah,
evil.
Charlotte, but I call her evil Dolores because she is evil Dolores. She
Yes.
isn't Charlotte at this point. or she's a weird mixture, even though it doesn't make sense because it was Dolores's brain. But anyway,
Yeah.
that's just weird. I don't know how that works, but it's very interesting because she's obviously not even happy with her own body.
Yeah.
Because she's tearing away and she's been scratching at herself since season 3. Like ever since she's been in that body.
car accident.
You always see her scratching, and they even talk about it after the episode. They talk about how she always scratches, and it's this idea that she's not comfortable in that skin. Do you think she's going to become the baby robot from the Matrix?
Yeah, no.
I know it was a joke.
Well,
that was a long build up.
Yeah.
Or Dolores is going to take herself
I mean, when you think about it, she does mention that she's trying to get them to enter in this transcend these bodies and stuff like that, and she's pissed off that they're not transcending. So maybe they're trying to go, further. But I mean,
I
I
think
think-
humanity, what they're talking about.
Yeah. But I think it has a lot to do with their character story arcs.
Yeah.
Because as it is, even when they were in the new Westworld, they're still using the same story plot.
Yeah. Oh,
Like there's been nothing new. There's been no new story. It's always been the same story, and they're repeating the same thing over and over again. So these new hosts don't really have a good story.
yeah.
Because it's not created by creativity, it's created by a program.
Yeah. And they don't have
Dolores,
Well,
and it's like
yeah.
Dolores who doesn't even know she's creating it, and then even when she comes up with a new story idea, this girl lives on a ranch and she lives with her father. It's like, no, it's the same story. Like, you know what I mean?
Back at the
Yeah.
beginning.
But I'm just saying, like, that's all
It's
a
real.
program knows is what it knows. You know what I mean? Like,
Yeah.
unless you find the map, right? Just like how the Man in Black was describing to his host when he was talking at the end. He's like, it looks like you found the center of the map. Now you have to decide what you're going to do, kind of thing.
Yeah.
So,
Yeah.
which he's going to become, Agent Smith and probably break out of the system.
Well,
'cause
I've
he
already
wants to
thought,
become
I already
human.
thought, when we were talking about this, where I already thought, the Man in Black was going to break out the real Man in Black. I already thought that from the very beginning.
Oh,
But I
mhm.
also don't think Caleb's dead. And I was
No.
talking to Brittany. I do not think Caleb's dead. I think evil Dolores is lying because he's too
He's
precious.
frozen somewhere, probably.
He's frozen, exactly. I think he's frozen. For one, because the host brain that she was contorting, if he died, you wouldn't be able to acquire all that knowledge from a dead body. So I definitely think he's alive. And she mentioned previously that he's too precious. In the last episode, she mentions like you're too special. So I don't think that he's dead at all. I like this idea that they created that humanity is infectious. That's what's kind of gravitating me to kind of
It's a
look at
virus.
it again. Yeah, humanity is a virus. This idea that we have something that is intangible, a soul kind of is infectious. Having a soul is infectious. This is probably it is my favorite episode of this season for sure, but it's my favorite episode of the last 2.5 seasons, I would say.
Even though the last episode was really good though too, right? We had some major twists in the plot.
At the end.
Yes, at the end and all that stuff. And it was, it's like Bernard. I kind of like his storyline, but I don't, because it's very reminiscent of last season, where it's like your future's already predicted for you. It's like, oh man, he's doing this. Like, you know what I mean? Like the path is already laid out, and I get it. Like, go there, do that, hit the switch. It's like, okay. But I just like his character so much. Where I'm also very interested in. Is Anthony Hopkins going to come back?
Oh my
in
gosh,
some
I
way
was totally
this
thinking about
season,
that today.
Yeah.
As because his brain was implanted, right?
Yes.
So where's his brain?
I don't know if his brain's up there in the cloud where all the other hosts are at
bring back
and
that
living
character
so.
in some shape and form.
If he's willing.
No, but
I mean,
the idea of the character of Ford.
Even if he doesn't come back.
Right. Like they could bring back Ford just in a digital form of like as one of those characters. Like I was telling him,
in a different host body or something like that, right? Like Dolores, right? Dolores last season had 5 host bodies, but I wasn't a fan of that, so I hope they don't do that to him. Yeah. I want the real deal. Yeah. I want the man who started it all, kind of thing. That's when it was good. The first season.
And painting my post instead. That's
his Instagram.
That's so funny you mentioned Cat. That scene when everyone froze, they just remind me of the Matrix with the deja vu. It's like something in the code has been changed.
Well, totally, and even with the boat coming back, right? And they're like what you mentioned with the boat coming back, and them having to extract the deep. What do they call the word? They didn't call it deviate. The
rogue or whatever.
Yeah, whatever.
We know what you're talking about.
Somebody went an outlier. An outlier. To extract an outlier, like even that scene for sure.
So, and what's really interesting is too that dinner scene we had, or when they met for lunch, evil Dolores and good Dolores.
Yep.
It's almost like at the beginning of the episode when that weird dance scene happened, which I was not a fan of at all. When like the dance scene and like sitting on them, I was like, okay, I get it. It's just weird. I'm just not a fan of the way Charlotte's being portrayed through the acting this season too. I don't like how stiff she is, and something seems off with her acting this season. I don't know, it's the way she's being directed or what she's trying to do with the character to make it feel different. But anyways, I just want to get back to my point really, really quickly. So at that scene, or at the beginning, she talks about how she's bored and how Zeus would come down to the heavens to start something. So it's almost like she implanted Dolores on purpose in this system so she could wake up to start something. And that's why, like, when she's questioning her, it's like all the positive and good stuff was like embedded into this Dolores, and she just wants to make sure this Dolores is on a different path almost.
Well, I had my theories kind of different from you at the very beginning. When we talked about the last season, Dolores was never dead in my opinion, because the whole thing when she was attached to the main program, it wasn't killing her, it was deleting all of her files. So they were doing that, and every time they deleted her, it was like it hurt her. And then eventually they did the clear wipe in it, and then you don't see her move. But I don't think she's dead. I think she was just wiped. So I think this Dolores is the same, the good Dolores is the same Dolores that we saw at the end of the last season, just wiped and like slowly, being manipulated by the new Dolores. But my thing that I was talking with Brittany about was the fact that I think just like The Matrix and just like Inception, where you have to walk because you're in this game atmosphere, you have to walk such a tight line so you're not caught, even though you are made full aware that this reality isn't real. So like when the evil Dolores was having the meeting with the good Dolores, and she asked her, oh, who's this guy you met? Evil Dolores knows exactly who the guy is. She knows exactly how good Dolores should respond. She knows she should respond, oh, it's Teddy, because she's acting according to program. If she lies, then evil Dolores knows that, oh, hey, you've deviated now. You are no longer under my control. You are at risk, right? So I was telling Brittany, I was like, she has to say Teddy. Even when she met with Teddy, good Dolores met with Teddy, Teddy says to her, he says, hey, like, keep doing what you're doing. We've been talking for too long, like, but don't deviate from the plan. And she was like, what if I mess up? And he says, you won't. Meaning that if she starts messing things up, it's going to be obvious that she's a host that that knows the reality and that's going to ruin things. So in that meeting, I feel like she should have said Teddy, but she didn't. And then good Dolores made the servers, collide with each other. So Charlotte now knows that good Dolores is
Rogue.
she's rogue. Now Charlotte knows, which I think is super interesting. Now Charlotte knows that good Dolores or Christina is rogue, and like what's it gonna happen now? What's gonna that's interesting to me.
Comment time! Woohoo! This is comments from the last video. Thank you guys so much for commenting. We do our best to read them here, and I try to get other people active with the reading.
All right, so Johnny Cashew, I hope that I'm saying your name correctly. He said, "What if Westworld was the world's best Terminator/Matrix reboot?" Nice. Add Inception to that, because Inception is definitely
there you go. Everything, right? We got the Skynet, we got the Inception, we got the Matrix. Let's throw it all in there. Which I got a lot of Matrix 4 vibes in this episode too. The idea too, because remember how Neo is like a game designer of the Matrix? It was like, no.
Yeah, for sure. Yeah. And I actually, so part of the predictability of this show was I knew good Dolores, like before they just did the reveal, was gonna recognize that she was actually responsible for creating the storylines for humans that were existing. Like I knew it, and they revealed that. Maybe too soon for me, but whatever. Yeah.
Hey, that means there might be a bigger twist at the end.
For sure. Pedro said, "I can see someone in the meeting that would decide RBW future saying, meh, Westworld is already going to be weird this season. Enough of weirdness. This parasite, the human control, what the F?"
He's talking about Raised by Wolves. Yes. So the Raised by Wolves community, which we have here, which is amazing. They're kind of mad that they canceled Raised by Wolves and they're continuing Westworld because Westworld season 3 wasn't as big, as like a twist and everything. So people are like, Westworld, blah, blah, blah. But yes, very interesting because these meetings happen, right?
Yeah.
Maybe we're going to go so crazy in this new season of Westworld. We don't need the crazy from Raised by Wolves, but I doubt it because Raised by Wolves was crazy. Yeah. If you guys know, you know.
Cool. The last R-Spec said, Bernard was in the Sublime for 23,000 years running possibilities. Damn.
He was there for a long time. It's like it was like a Doctor Strange moment. Well, I think it's 23,000 different possibilities, maybe, or years, or something like that. But I think it's 23 years if you look at the age of Frankie.
Yes, it was 23 years. They mentioned 23. Okay. Yeah.
So it just, but I got very much like Doctor Strange vibes at the end of Endgame. Remember when he was like sitting there going through all the possibilities kind of thing? So. Yeah.
I'm interested because I actually like Bernard the character. I like, in the last season how he would press the button and then he would, shift from being the, different types of Bernards. I like that. So I hope that they...
And he's such a good actor.
He's a great actor. He is a great actor.
So good.
Yeah, for sure.
Utilize him. Put him in more episodes.
For sure. And he was in Inception, so you got to keep many. So.
He's almost in everything nowadays. Yeah. He's in Batman. He's in the Hunger Games. You name it, he's in it.
So Adventures in Portland said Caleb was able to resist the flies. Therefore, his daughter will be able to resist the flies. Hence her importance. Also why she is currently free, I presume. So
it's in the genes.
For sure. Because in the last episode you watch Caleb, even though he is infected, instead of shooting Maeve, he shoots the man in black. So he definitely has some control. And then he says after that scene, he says, she's like, how did you resist me? He says, because I have something you don't have. That's also why I know for sure that Caleb can't be dead, because there's something special about him. And if you kill him, you're losing it, and evil Dolores is too smart for that. So I don't think he's dead, despite her saying that he is. That's my theory. That's my theory.
And you heard it here, everyone.
Yeah, right. Okay. Javier said,
I say my opinions of the show.
Javier said, remember in season 2 when Ford kissed Maeve in the forehead while her chest was all open up to her neck? Ford admits Maeve was always his favorite and upgrades her code. All of this is a projection from Bernard's mind as he was nearby.
So
That's interesting.
that's a question I had in the last one. In the last review I did, is like, what makes Maeve so special? I remember she like did the thing and she upgraded herself, but like in my head, it's like the same exact coding, right, as everyone else, as
No,
all the other hosts, right?
she had the ability of being able to contort that world when nobody else could. She had the ability.
I'm
to
just curious, like,
change-
why she has that ability and not like Dolores, who was his favorite, or does Dolores have that ability too?
Well, she
and she
does.
just doesn't
she
know it?
doesn't. Yeah, maybe.
Yeah, it's just very interesting. That's what was just bugging me. It's like, okay, I know Maeve all of a sudden has this special power because I remember in the season 1 she was like upgraded, right?
Yeah.
And you're like, okay, so she got the upgrade, so other hosts can get this upgrade too, right? Because it's like all within the coding or whatever. But now it's like she's really special to the point where like she can't die. Like, that's
Yeah. That's what
Because
she
like
said.
think about it, she's the only one that really built herself versus everyone else. And I think there's a possibility too that all of them are duplicates of Dolores minus Maeve. She's the only one that's actually built into her own program. The rest of them are just a bunch of Doloreses. They're lemmings.
Or it's those fatality tests, right? That remember
Canary?
in season 2, right? I forgot the original owner of the company. Remember, he was sick.
He was dying.
And he was
Oh,
trying.
yeah, the old dude.
Yeah, remember that process?
Delios.
Yeah.
Delos, yes. And then that's basically what's happening with the Man in Black, right?
Yeah.
Mhm.
He probably went through that same process, and that's what Caleb's going through now.
Yeah.
That was the whole thing at the end of the episode. He was going through the fidelity test.
Yeah.
He was sitting in the room and it's like checking everything and stuff like that. So it's just a lot. There's a lot to see. There's what, 3 episodes left now because there's only 8 for the season. So man, it's like, come on, only 8.
I have one more. I have one more thing that I just.
Okay.
thought.
Okay. Yes.
Last one. All right. So, so you have evil Dolores and you have good Dolores, and evil Dolores has full control over the humans in this world and the creation. We saw good Dolores talking to her boss and having full control over him as well, because since they're made of the same mind, they probably have the same,
Power
coding
sets,
and all
yeah,
that.
yeah.
So what would happen if they have like a standoff, because each of them have. What if they both can control the world equally? What if good Dolores is able to freely roam and even go into the island, without being caught, because she has the same coding and everything as the other Dolores? They are essentially the same.
It's Naruto and Sasuke. They're just going to blend at the end.
Yeah, or they're gonna embrace themselves,
Yeah.
and become one or something like that. Like you're the other half or something like that. Or it's gonna be like, what did Dr. Evil say to Austin Powers? We're not so different, you and I.
Yeah. Yeah.
Oh, we have Ashley, right? Stubbs.
Yeah.
Is Stubbs of any importance, or you think he's just there to protect Bernard?
I like
Still, because that was his protocol, right?
Yeah.
Ashley or Stubbs, yeah.
him being. I think that was a reference to him being the canary too, with the idea of like you are going to die before him because he is his protector. In a sense, a canary will keep you alive to let you know you're going to die because he takes his own life for you.
Well, Bernard actually meant so in the last episode before they split up, when Ashley asked like, "Are we safe?" and he says, "You'll be." So, that's
We'll see what
Meaning
happens with
nothing's going
Bernard.
to happen. He knew
to him,
to
the
actually
canary,
going through the tunnel.
correct. But to Bernard, there's a fate that
Yeah.
that's
more at
not.
risk.
Yeah.
Bernard's gonna be the Tony Stark, right? He's
For
gonna
sure.
he's gonna do the snap to reset
I
everything.
think they're going to
Sure.
bring Ford back through Bernard because they can't actually afford Anthony Hopkins.
They have a lot of money.
Not that much. For Anthony?
It's HBO. They have money. They got deep pockets.
They're making too many shows right now, so they probably don't have the funding.
Well, that's why they cut all the shows. Anyways, if you guys have any good comments or theories, please write them down below. Let me know what you think of the episode. Let me know what you think of certain characters and where their stories are going to end up. And you can go to AsArt.space for all of our audio and video links, where we also have cool stuff and merch and cool shirts and stuff like that. And we'll see you on the next AsArt. Whoa, good job, guys.
Okay.
What'd you think for your first one?